So students, today we will study the Wien's bridge, which is used to measure the frequency of an unknown source. Fine. So now Wien's bridge. So now first of all you just have to know the circuit diagram of this Wien's bridge. So now as we know that in any bridge will be having four arms. So now in arm 1 will be having one resistor and one capacitor will be connected in series with it. Okay, one capacitor will be connected in just series with it, and then in arm 4 there will be one resistor only, and in arm, so this is the arm 3, so this is arm 1 2 3 and 4. So now in arm 2 there will be one resistance and one capacitance, those will be connected in series with each other, and there in arm 4 there will be one resistor only. So, and this is the connection of the detector. At balance condition there will not be any flow of current through this detector. Okay, so now there is an AC source, and we are done with the circuit diagram of this. So now whenever we are naming this, so you may name this that this is your, that is arm 4, so it will be C1, so it is R1, so this is your R3, this is your R4, this is your R2, and this is your C2. So now naming the current, this is the main supply current, that is I, and sorry, this is I and this is E, and so now this will be your I1. This I1 will be same current will be flowing through this R3 also, and this is R2, so this current you may take this as I2, and this I2 is also flowing through this R4 at the balance condition. So in this case you have to think that whatever we are starting from this point, that is at the balance condition only, not during the unbalanced condition. Unbalanced condition means at that condition when there is a flow of current through this detector. So at the balance condition, detector will be showing the null value, so there will not be any flow of current. So this I1 and this will be the same current, and this I2 and this will be the same current. Fine. So now applying the bridge balance theory, that is, we know that the Z1 Z4 should be equals to Z2 Z3. That is, we know that Z1 at balance condition, Z1 Z4 is equals to Z2 into Z3. So now Z1 Z4 should be Z2 into Z3. Okay, so now by writing the equation we can write down finally that is equals to R1 by 1 plus j omega C1 R1 into R4 equals to R2 minus j by omega C2 into R3. So this is the impedance of Z1, this is the impedance of Z4, this is the impedance of Z2, and this is the impedance of Z3. So we know this thing. So now after equating and after separating the real and imaginary part, finally we will be having that is R4 by R3 is equals to R2 by R1 plus C1 by C2. And after doing so you will be finding the frequency in the omega form, where by computing omega is equals to 2 pi f, we will be finally getting this thing that is equals to f is equals to, you will be getting 1 by 2 pi root under of R1 R2 C1 and C2. So all of you just can solve this thing, and after solving this you will be getting this equation that frequency equals to this. So now for any practical condition we generally take that is C1 and C2 are same and R1 and R2 are same. Okay, C1 C2 and R1 R2 will be same. So now in this case you just have to consider one thing also, that is the capacitances. That capacitors C1 and C2 are fixed, but this R1 and R2 capacitor are actually variable capacitors. So better you can write a variable symbol over there. So by varying the value of this R1 and R2, you have to take the balance condition, you have to consider the balance condition. So now we just told that is R1 is equals to R2 if you are taking this thing, and which is equals to R, and C1 is equals to C2 which is equals to C. Finally the equation will be become that is F is equals to 1 by 2 pi, tell me, R into C, 1 by 2 pi RC. Okay, so this is the final equation of the frequency for a Wien's bridge. So now in many books we had found that there is a no phasor diagram is given for this Wien bridge. So now in this topic, so today we are going to discussing about this thing. So now first of all you consider this bridge. So here you will be having that this C1 R1 R3 R4 and C2 R2. Okay, fine. So now this current and this current are same, and this current and this current are same. So now we can take this I1 as our reference axis in our reference axis also, but in this case we will not take it. Why? Because I1 is clearly the phasor sum of this current and this current. So let us name this one. This is say our current IC1 and this is current IR1. Okay, so now the elementary part is this IR1 and this IC1. By summing up this, the two current will be getting this I1. So now let us take this IR1 as our reference axis in our reference axis. So let us take this IR1 in along the x-axis. Fine. So now this IR1 we just take. So now the voltage drop across this R1 will be in the same phase of this current. So now you take this IR1 into R1 over there. So now this voltage drop, that means the voltage drop, this voltage drop and the voltage drop across this capacitor will be same. So we can write that this is IC by omega C. What is it? Omega C1. So IC1, the position of IC1 will be 90 degree lagging to the voltage drop. So now, so this is your IC1, this is your IC1 and this is your IR1. So now what we are told earlier, that is summing up this IC1 and IR1 will be getting the total current I1. So now you just take the phasor sum. So this is should be the phasor of your I1. I think you're clear about it. So now this down, take this thing. This is I1 current and this current will be same. So the voltage drop across this RC, so you can write down this as I1 also. So the voltage drop across this resistance R3 will be in the same phase of this I1. So you just do this thing. So you can take this, that is I1 R3 in the same axis. So now eventually what we get, that is I1 R3, and so this is I2. This is I2 R4 will be the same, though both are the same value, because we know that is the voltage drop across this arm and this arm will be same, and this arm and this arm will be same. So now hence you can write down this is I1 R1, it is also equals to I2 R4 also. Fine. So now whenever you are drawing this I2 R4 in this axis, so it can be said that I2 will be in the same phase of I1. Clear? I2 will be in the same phase of I1. So you just can write down this I2 over there. No issue with that. There's no issue with that. Okay. So now let us consider, so this and these branches are done. So now consider another thing, that is this drop and this entire drop will be same. So you have to draw this two drop in a certain way that the resultant will come in the same thing of this and this, that is at this point. So then for that thing what we have to do, we have to draw the phasor of IC, that is IC2, phasor of, say it is getting, that is say you say IC by IC2, sorry, this IC2 by omega C2, and 90 degree leading to this will be having the another thing, which is the, you tell me, this should be your I2 R2. This is IC2, better to write this as I2 also. This is I2, this is I2 by omega C2, and this will be your I2 R2. So now by doing this thing, actually this should be written over there, so you can erase this part. So we'll be having this point over there, we'll be having this I2 by omega C2. Okay, so this will be I2 by omega C2, and by this resulting these two term, you'll be having the voltage drop over this point. So now this is the impedance, this is the voltage drop in arm 2, which is also equals to this drop, that is R1 IR1 and IC by omega C1 over there. So I think you got this thing. Okay, so now this is the complete phasor diagram of Weisbridge. So I think you understand this thing. So if you have any doubt, you can tell your queries in the comment box section. Okay.